Well, welcome everyone. I hope you can all hear me. We are gathered today for the annual Boundary Historical Society's annual picnic, finally, and long awaited for. And on behalf of Joan Hart, our president, I want to welcome you here. And my name is Cher Wires. I'm the vice president of the Boundary Historical Society. And I'm just going to do a little review of how we acquired the Floyd cabin from Gladys back in 2019, and a little bit of history of our bequeather Gladys, who I'm sure is looking down on us today. So we've all been through a lot in the last 18 months, that's for sure. But it is a pleasure being gathering with our members today at Gladys's iconic Jewel Lake cabin that was built in 1899 by Arthur Norris, who was Lord Pelly of England. And this cabin has been in the family, in the Floyd family, for over 100 years after her Uncle George White purchased it in 1915. Now, Pelly was anticipating a mining operation up here, so he purchased this land and registered it as Long Lake town site. The mine did ship quartz ore that showed high grades of gold, silver, and silica. Now, you don't need to remember any of this because we have on sale today both reports, report number 17, which carries Gladys's story of her life in the Boundary, and we also have our latest report, which outlines the acquisition of the Floyd cabin here. So they're available here today. So Gladys was very generous in gifting the Boundary Historical Society, and we're deeply honored, and we will continue to ensure her memory is kept alive as we create our own history here at Floyd's Jewel Lake cabin. So Gladys was born in October 30th, 1930 in Greenwood, and spent her early years on the family farm not too far from here, Floyd Mountain, followed by schooling in Greenwood, where she lived on Church Street for a few years before moving back to the farm. She graduated and moved on to Nelson, attending business college. A year after that, she accepted the government sub-agency position in Creston. 14 months after that, she returned to Grand Forks to work at the Bank of Commerce as a stenographer. A year later, the Department of Highways lured Gladys, and eventually she was promoted to office manager. Years later, still with Highways, Gladys took on Yardman, where she remained until she retired at age 55. And here's the Gladys Floyd I met in 2009, who is volunteering for the Grand Forks and District Public Library, and I will always reflect on the afternoon reception held for the library volunteers at a private garden, and Gladys's beaming smile, as we all remember, as she was recognized by her peers for her volunteering service. Gladys loved her community and volunteered delivering Meals on Wheels, became a life member of the Order of the Eastern Star, and involved in the BC Retired Government Employees Association. Last but not least, she loved her history and contributed greatly to the Boundary Historical Society, and was bestowed a life member with us. So let's visit how we got here today. In 2018, Gladys, our lifetime member, approached the Historical Society with the idea of accepting ownership of the Jewel Lake cabin that had been in her family for many years. In 2019, the Society was entrusted by Gladys to take possession of the cabin and preserve it as a historical site. When she inherited it in the early 1970s, she transformed the cabin with her own personal renovations, where Gladys entertained her many friends, creating fond memories and stories. And we know some of you today will probably have some of those stories to share with us. Our Jewel Lake Diamond in the Rough has required some TLC since 2019, and Doreen has a job jar list ongoing And she recruits a number of volunteers, including the Boundary Woodworkers Guild, who have been exceptional in assisting us up here with fence repairs, setting up the kiosk here. So, and donations have been coming in to authenticize the interior, from Judith Ham's braided rug to a vintage chair from Bob McTavish here from the Woodworkers Guild. Beginning back in the spring of 2020, Doreen mustered up a crew to remove the debris and brushes from the exterior grounds. Volunteers have continued throughout 2021, attending to the repairs to the cabin stove, fencing, and the grounds upkeep. So thank you to all the volunteers who have given tirelessly of their time and traveling up here to do this work, this very valuable work. One day in June, while visiting the cabin with Ken Fair and Mel Carroll, I saw Mel here. Where is he? There he is. To install the post with the tabletop sign here, they etched out a path around the cabin for visitors to walk around. What luck spotting two men, Doreen, with a metal detector surveying the town site for the new lodge owners. Our two lots of 33 feet in width were easily located. Discovering one of the resort's campsite was also on our property. The surveyors graciously surveyed the Floyd property at no cost to the society. Wow. Everything has worked out nicely with the new resort owners, and new fencing is underway. Orlando Brown, Gladys' trustee, and Orlando is just around the corner there, provided 2 pictures of the Floyd property and also another copy of the cabin pictures along with the guest books that you'll find in the cabin today. And the photos with Gladys holding her guest book, I've got copies of my presentation today. There's a photo of her taken in March 2020 when the executive visited her for her birthday. So today we celebrate a very special lady who is with us in spirit as we celebrate our annual picnic in her honor. A thank you, Gladys, hardly seems sufficient, but we know for certain that deeding her Jewel Lake cabin to the society will give us all a stronger purpose to ensure her legacy lives on. So thank you once again, everyone, for coming out today. Please take time to look at the artifacts that are here. We are leaving it as authentic as we can, and enjoy your afternoon and your lunch. And thank you, Doreen, for all the extra special goodies that you provide.
And the coffee.
And
the coffee was not easy.
So thank you once again.
Thank you, Cher.
And there's copies inside if anybody
Sure.
wants to copy.